Ryan Reynolds was frustrated with the corporate executives who dragged their feet in the production of Deadpool.
You must be quite pissed off that, you couldn't make that decision for yourselves.
Yes, exactly. We tried, but the fans got it made. So there's a great story, too, that this is totally fan-driven in every way.
I guess people who don't know, they'll be thinking, why wouldn't the studio want to make this movie? It's a superhero movie. Everyone loves that. And it is a superhero movie, and it's got all those things.
Yeah. What was the meeting like when you're discussing with Disney the jokes about Disney?
The fun story would be that Disney was just appalled at everything and was never going to let us do anything. But that's on one hand. On the other hand, money. They had a lot of faith in us to deliver and to self-govern. So yes, there's jokes in there that I personally cannot believe they let us.
And in fairness, because we were like the kind of good boy students turning in our script every once in a while, and every time we sent a script, we were like kind of waiting, and the pushback never came, and it became clear that on this movie, funny wins.
Really, there was one joke, one line that they asked me to take out.
When I was on set, I was like, there's no way that's going to be it.
Yeah, I have a joke about Hugh that I couldn't believe he let me say in the movie. So that passes. I was like, wow, he let that go.
Ryan Reynolds is absolutely furious with Disney's CEO Bob Iger. What was supposed to be a massive win for Marvel has quickly turned into an all-out war. Instead of celebrating the record-breaking success of Deadpool 3 and Wolverine, Ryan and the creative team are now locked in a heated battle with Disney over control of Deadpool's future. The tensions have boiled over, with Ryan even threatening to walk away from Marvel entirely. Despite the drama, Deadpool 3 and Wolverine have officially crossed the $1 billion mark at the box office, making it one of the most successful Marvel ventures outside the core Avengers franchise. This isn't just a financial victory, it's a cultural game changer. The film's success not only proved that R-rated, edgy superhero films have a huge audience, but it also solidified Ryan Reynolds, Shaw Levy, and the entire creative team as some of Hollywood's new power players. Ryan saw this moment as a golden opportunity. He expected Disney to reinvest the profits into expanding the Deadpool universe, bringing more X-Men characters to the forefront, and setting the stage for more Deadpool-centric crossovers that fans had been begging for. But instead, Disney executives had a different vision. Nearly 45% of the $1.3 billion revenue, almost $600 million, was funneled into diversity, equity, and inclusion (DEI) projects. The problem wasn't with DEI itself, but with Disney's track record. Many of these DEI-focused films have struggled to resonate with audiences, with critics pointing out that they often prioritize messaging over storytelling. Films like the live-action The Little Mermaid and Eternals, both of which featured heavy DEI messaging, faced backlash and underperformed at the box office. Ryan and the Deadpool team grew uneasy, fearing that Disney was using the success of Deadpool to prop up projects that didn't align with their audience's expectations.
Seriously, how much did you actually write?
I wrote on every Deadpool movie. I'm not going to...
Right, it's okay. I know you can't spell, so it's hard to write when you can't spell.
Well, I mean, pictures go a long way. Simple grunts. And also just talking. Oh, wouldn't it be cool if we, do that kind of stuff, right? Yeah.
But he actually, I can tell you, he really did write this with Sean and the other writers, and he's an incredible, incredible writer.
Well, I'm not one of the great romantics, but it was...
And a generous writer, you really are. Do you like writing?
I do. One of the scariest things I've ever done in my entire life is writing for you. Wolverine got a legacy there that is one of the most iconic legacies in all comic book movies.
Ryan Reynolds wasn't just the face of Deadpool, he was its heart and soul. Along with director Shawn Levy, who helmed Deadpool 3, and longtime writing partners Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, Ryan helped shape Deadpool into a brand that was irreverent, edgy, and unapologetically unique. Together, they crafted a character and a universe that stood out in the superhero landscape, never afraid to challenge the norm. However, Disney's push to dilute Deadpool's tone with more inclusive messaging quickly sparked a conflict. The Big Four, Ryan, Shawn, Rhett, and Paul, stood their ground against Disney's interference. They clashed frequently with CEO Bob Iger and other top executives. The goal was simple: protect Deadpool's identity. But with each script review, Disney's DI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, teams seemed to nudge them toward a more family-friendly narrative. Disney wanted to inject themes of social justice, identity, and more diverse supporting characters. While those ideas have their place in many stories, they felt out of place for Deadpool, a character whose charm lies in breaking the fourth wall, pushing boundaries with raunchy humor, and satirizing everything in sight. The creative team felt that the changes being proposed would compromise what made Deadpool special, transforming it into something it was never meant to be.
I'd written this short film about Deadpool. It was going to attach to Free Guy, and it was Deadpool interrogating the hunter who had killed Bambi's mom. And the rug pull of it, though, is that you think Deadpool's going to kill the hunter, but Deadpool's actually just a huge fan. He wants to know how he too can be as loathed as the hunter is in the Disney universe. And they just shut that down immediately.
Bob Iger's involvement only made things worse. Initially, he promised Ryan and his team that Deadpool 3's success would open the door for more ambitious Marvel projects. They discussed expanding the Deadpool universe, possibly even creating a new R-rated branch for Marvel films. However, when it came time to allocate funds, Iger's promises fell flat. Ryan didn't hold back. He publicly called out Disney for not honoring their agreements. In response, Iger brushed it off, claiming he had never explicitly agreed to reinvest Deadpool's earnings into more Marvel projects. He insisted no such promise had been made, and instead, Disney allocated a significant portion of the revenue to fund live-action remakes and other projects outside of the Marvel umbrella. This not only went against what Ryan had been led to believe, but it also stung because it felt like Deadpool's monumental success was being siphoned off to fund projects that were seen as flops. For Ryan and his team, it was a bitter pill to swallow, a golden opportunity that they felt Disney had squandered, leaving them frustrated and feeling betrayed.
How would Wolverine, if he got the chance to deliver the line?
That's bait. Don't take bait. Don't you take that? No.
How so?
Because you will be a meme, and then Bob Iger will show up at your house. You'll be neutralized by one of the people with the blow darts.
That's true. So I shouldn't say that Wolverine would say, go yourself.
Yes, that's the stuff.
Oh, yeah, boy!
One 4.5-minute interview ruined all of our careers.
Avengers! Go yourself.
Yes!
The tension wasn't just between Disney and Ryan. Hugh Jackman, who made a highly anticipated return as Wolverine, also felt deceived. He had come back expecting Deadpool and Wolverine's success to pave the way for a broader, grittier X-Men universe. But seeing the earnings from Deadpool and Wolverine redirected to fund projects like the Snow White 2025 remake left him fuming. Ryan's reaction was even more intense: outrage. He began openly criticizing the studio, making it clear that Disney's handling of the situation was unacceptable. His criticisms sparked fears that he might walk away from Marvel altogether. Currently, Ryan is set to star in up to 5 upcoming Marvel movies, including an ambitious Deadpool vs. Wolverine sequel, X-Men crossovers, and potentially even joining the Avengers. But Ryan's message to Disney is crystal clear. If they don't get their act together and refocus on the Marvel projects they promised, he's ready to leave. If that happens, it could spell disaster for Disney's entire X-Men reboot. Losing Ryan, the star, producer, and creative force behind Deadpool, would not only send a shockwave through Marvel's plans, but could also undermine the entire vision they've built for the X-Men's return to the big screen.
I love what you said about wanting to entertain audiences, critics saying Disney's too woke, but you're just putting out storytelling.
We are. Look, I don't really like the term woke because I think it's an umbrella term that I'm not 100% sure I even know what it means, and one could argue that sometimes it's used too liberally. That said, our primary purpose is to entertain, and where we can entertain responsibly, obviously we try to do that. We try to have a positive impact on the world, but the first thing we need to do is entertain.
Bob Iger has steered Disney toward a trajectory that prioritizes diversity, equity, and inclusion (DEI) across nearly all of its film and TV content. He's gone all in on this DEI agenda, even hiring a high-paid DEI supervisor, rumored to have a 7-figure salary, and assembling an entire team dedicated to ensuring Disney's future projects align with DEI principles. This department has been granted significant influence, extending its reach to all levels of content creation, from scripting to casting decisions, even reshaping some of Disney's classic characters and storylines to fit more inclusive narratives. Iger views this as essential for the company's long-term growth, believing that in an increasingly diverse world, audiences are demanding more varied representation. However, this strategy has sparked fierce debate, especially because it's led to funds being redirected away from established, successful franchises like Deadpool and Wolverine toward projects with unproven commercial appeal. The impact has been evident in Disney's recent lineup. Films like Strange World and the Willow TV series were heavily promoted as representations of Disney's new inclusive direction, featuring diverse casts and progressive themes. However, both titles struggled at the box office and failed to gain traction on streaming platforms, costing Disney millions in lost revenue. The 2023 Haunted Mansion reboot also became a high-profile failure, plagued by the same issues. Despite these setbacks, Iger has doubled down on directing even more resources to DEI initiatives, believing that this focus will pay off in the long term. This approach has not been well received by many in the industry. Critics argue that Disney is putting the cart before the horse by prioritizing representation over storytelling, risking the alienation of core audiences who value engaging plots and character development above all else. Even anonymous insiders within Disney have expressed concern, pointing out that Iger may be overestimating the financial viability of these projects. They note that Disney's recent quarterly earnings showed a decline in theatrical revenue, despite a slew of DEI-focused releases. Ryan Reynolds, who has supported diverse projects in the past, sees this approach as misguided, especially for Deadpool. He has voiced concerns that shoehorning DEI elements into Deadpool simply for the sake of it would feel forced and inauthentic, ultimately undermining the character. Deadpool's humor and appeal are rooted in pushing boundaries, breaking the fourth wall, and being irreverently politically incorrect. Trying to mold Deadpool into a mouthpiece for corporate diversity initiatives could erode the very qualities that made the franchise a billion-dollar hit in the first place. As tensions mount within Disney, the future of Deadpool and other Marvel projects hangs in the balance. The creative team's commitment to maintaining the character's integrity is clashing with Disney's larger corporate goals, and how this conflict plays out could have significant consequences for the company's entire approach to the superhero genre moving forward.
After Deadpool was hired to watch over a man and keep him safe, Deadpool took a peek through his apartment window and saw a strange gentleman walk through his front door.
I hope it doesn't sound condescending. I'm really proud of them. It adds a whole other color to this kaleidoscopic wheel that is that company. I was surprised that they let us go hard R.
And we had about 8 years to get that script right. This one, they gave us about 8 months. So really, it was just more of a holy shit situation. Let's all hands on deck.
One concrete example of the ongoing conflict came during the script revisions for Deadpool 3. Disney executives reportedly suggested adding a new sidekick for Deadpool, a younger, more diverse character aimed at appealing to Gen Z audiences. While this might seem like a positive change on paper, the execution felt clumsy, with the character coming across more as a token addition than an organic part of the story. Ryan Reynolds and the creative team immediately shot it down, but the fact that Disney was willing to compromise Deadpool's tone for the sake of inclusion sent a clear message. DEI is now the priority, even if it risks alienating the franchise's core fans. This ongoing battle has started to impact production schedules, with delays in script approval, last-minute rewrites, and disagreements over character arcs creating friction between the studio and the creatives. At this point, it's not just about Deadpool. The outcome of this clash could determine how Disney approaches all of its major franchises moving forward, including Star Wars, Marvel, and Pixar. For Ryan Reynolds, the struggle has become more than just protecting the integrity of one character. It's about the future of Marvel Studios as a whole. With many of the original Avengers stepping back and Phase 4 films receiving mixed reviews, Ryan sees Deadpool as a key opportunity to rejuvenate the franchise and set a new tone for Marvel's next chapter. His strategy is simple: keep Deadpool edgy and true to its roots, while using its success to reintroduce the X-Men and create a grittier, more mature universe that can coexist with the more family-friendly Marvel films. However, Disney's fixation on DEI-driven narratives is complicating these plans. Ryan's team has pitched several ideas for Deadpool 4 and a potential Deadpool vs. Wolverine spin-off that would explore darker, more mature themes, exactly what longtime fans are hoping for. Yet, Disney's top brass have countered with suggestions that lean heavily into inclusive storytelling, such as focusing on a diverse ensemble cast, adding social justice themes, and even softening some of Deadpool's more controversial humor. As a result, Ryan has been rallying support among other key players in the Marvel Universe. He's reportedly been in contact with creatives behind the Blade reboot and the upcoming Daredevil, Born Again series, both of which have faced similar interference. If they can present a united front, Ryan believes they can convince Disney to carve out a separate space for mature Marvel content, free from the constraints of the larger DI-focused agenda. But so far, Bob Iger has resisted, fearing that this could create a split identity within the Marvel brand. The stakes couldn't be higher. Disney is at a crossroads where its commitment to DI is clashing with its need to keep billion-dollar franchises like Marvel profitable. Bob Iger's leadership is being tested like never before. Industry analysts have pointed out that if Iger continues down this path, Disney risks alienating the very fan base that has made Marvel a cornerstone of modern pop culture. Ryan Reynolds, for his part, has made his position clear. Either Disney allows Deadpool to remain true to its roots, or he walks. And if that happens, it won't just be a blow to Deadpool. It could derail Disney's entire plan to integrate the X-Men into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. With Hugh Jackman already hinting at his reluctance to continue without Ryan, Disney could be on the verge of losing two of its biggest stars at a time when it desperately needs to reinvigorate the MCU. If Disney doesn't address these internal conflicts, it risks not just losing its top talent, but also alienating the very fans who made Deadpool and Wolverine a billion-dollar success. The next few months will be critical as Disney decides whether to stick to its DI-driven agenda or make concessions to keep the Marvel powerhouse intact.